I've been trying to come up with a really good Scarecrow gag to start this all off with, but it just seems that maybe I just don't have a brain.
Because it's Thursday.
Hello, Watchtower Database, and welcome back to The Vanishing Point, the only bi-weekly YouTube show that goes over the timeline of the DCAU to answer questions that you may not have even thought to have asked. It's been 2 weeks now since we've released the most recent issue of Legacies of the DCAU, and I'm sure most of you have read it by now. But for those of you who have absolutely no clue what I'm talking about, back in 2015, before I was even a part of this channel, James and Ted started working on a webcomic to fill the gaps in between Justice League Unlimited and Batman Beyond. In the time since then though, the DCAU has seen a revival of sorts. So while we try to do our best to keep continuity straight, every now and then there's a piece of material that may come out that contradicts a story that we already have planned. This isn't a critique of the latest issue though. More so it's a critique of our Halloween special from last year called Scary Things. For those of you who haven't read it yet, which why haven't you? It's available for free. Scary Things sets up the transition of the Scarecrow from the version that we see in Batman the Animated Series to the new Batman adventures. I won't spoil the story for you because once again, you can read it and all of the other issues of Legacies for free. There's a link down there somewhere, but I will tell you that it doesn't mesh well with canon while spoiling other comics that you might not have read for you, because if I didn't spoil those, I wouldn't have a video at all. In the years since the new Batman Adventures first aired, many theorists have toiled over trying to figure out explanations for the design changes of Batman's rogue gallery. While some, such as Catwoman, got canonical explanations through tie-in comics, and others like Poison Ivy got explanations that might work if you squint hard enough, Scarecrow is one that has left people scratching their heads. Perhaps one of the most prevalent theories is that Jonathan Crane had killed himself and was then later reanimated into this new form. After all, that theory does explain his seemingly deteriorating body, the noose around his neck, and as an added bonus gives extra weight from the voice actor change from Henry Pollock to Jeffrey Combs. You know, cause Jeffrey Combs was the reanimator and Scarecrow was reanimated. What do you mean you don't know what the reanimator is? You kids need to get off my lawn. Of course, this reasoning was only a theory and had no factual basis within DCAU canon, except for Paul Dini's comments on the special features of the show's home release.
He looked like a hanged man who'd been cut down and had gone off to terrorize people. We weren't even sure if there was an actual guy in the suit.
But while special features do give fun insight to the thought process and behind that, but while special features do give fun insight to the, god damn it. But while special features do give fun insight to the behind the, god damn it. But while special features do give fun insight to the thought process and behind the scenes aspects of the show's creation, god damn it. But while special features do give fun insight to the thought process and behind the scenes aspects of the show's creation, they don't always pan out as canon. In fact, even though we never see Crane out of costume in the new Batman Adventures, his official bio on the show's website states, Crane now dresses in the macabre rags of a scarecrow and uses his fear-inducing chemicals to force innocent people to bow to his will. And the only mention of his new outfit on the page is that he has a new, horrifying look to accompany his upgraded arsenal of weapons. From there, his entry in the official Batman the Animated Series guidebook is also scant on information. Scarecrow resembles a gangly and gruesome ghoul. His creepy costume even includes a frayed hangman's noose looped around his neck. And sure, these bios have been wrong before, so that doesn't put a full stop to that theory. I mean, Batman Animated adds even more fuel to the fire in their section where they're going over the show's redesigns, where Paul Dini says, "Third time is the charm for Scarecrow, who has gone from being a skinny geek with a bag over his head to a more imposingly masked and wigged figure, and ultimately to his current terrifying incarnation transformation as a hanged corpse. The design was so cool, we resolved to never again show his alter ego, Professor Jonathan Crane, without his mask. In fact, we're no longer sure it is a mask. But believe it or not, despite never seeing the professor unmasked on the show, we do see him out of his costume in this era for one panel in one tie-in comic. But it totally counts. In Gotham Adventures number 14, Harley is brought back to Arkham Asylum after a return to crime in hopes that it would help promote her new book. Once there, the first two fellow rogues that she sees are the Professor and Puppet Guy. And no, it's not the Professor who first showed up in Batman Adventures number 10 and then got a couple more tie-in comics throughout the Adventures series with his cohorts Mastermind and Mr. Nice. This guy has a lot more hair.
Hi, Professor Crane.
Good evening, child.
But if it all is just an outfit, then where did he get it from? Well, I just talked Batman TMNT Adventures in my last episode, so I'm assuming you guys all went out and picked up a copy and have read it in the 2 weeks since. Right? Why didn't you?
I was elected to lead, not to read.
Initially, Batman TMNT Adventures was only supposed to run for 5 issues, but due to fantastic sales, IDW extended the book for 1 extra issue. However, since the story that Matthew Manning was trying to tell was fully concluded by the end of issue 5, he had to find a way to make issue 6 a one-shot that still somehow had connective tissues to the first 5 issues. As he explained to the website Dark Knight News, since our original story had concluded, we needed another starting point. That's why we jump up to the new Batman Adventure style with issue number 6. It was to set it apart from the rest of the series and make it special at the same time. I went back to issue number 5 and added the Scarecrow epilogue to help tease issue number 6 so the readers would know that there was more to come and that we might just get to see the Krang aliens after all. That one-page epilogue that Manning references shows us Scarecrow designing his new suit in... That one-page epilogue that Manning mentions shows us Scarecrow designing his new suit in... due to fear of an unknown invading threat. That one-page epilogue that Manning mentions shows Scarecrow designing his new suit due to fear of an unknown invading threat. That one-page epilogue that Manning mentions shows us Scarecrow designing his new suit due to fear of an unknown invading threat. That one-page epilogue that Manning mentions shows us Scarecrow designing his new suit due to fear of an unknown invading threat that we come to learn in issue number 6 is the Krang. That's right, TMNT's Krang is the canonical reason for the suit upgrade. This book had a huge impact on the DCAU. However, that's not to say that the original theory doesn't hold any weight at all. Past just Paul Dini's statements, Batman Adventures writer and artist Ty Templeton told fans on a Batman message board back in 1998 that the Scarecrow has a new backstory that I've heard from some of the folks at WB that I'm not allowed to reveal, and that explains a lot of his new look and costume. It's a good one, and I wish I could write it up, but I'm not allowed. Supposedly someday it's going to be an episode. He followed this up elsewhere saying, "Yup, that's Professor Crane under all those clothes. I wonder if you noticed the noose around his neck in the redesign. I won't tell you much since the new Scarecrow look has an origin that they might touch upon in the show, but I will drop the tantalizing hint that it has something to do with the noose." Of course, that episode never got created, so Ty's next Batman comic, Batman Adventures Volume 2, got to toy around with the idea a little bit. While nothing was explicitly stated on the page about Scarecrow's transformation, the very first issue of the run shows a mangled Jonathan Crane lurking in the shadows of Arkham Asylum. The book was canceled before Ty and Dan Slott had the chance to tell all the stories that they had planned, but Ty Templeton did later take to Toon Zone after the cancellation to drop some of the story beats. The Scarecrow's new look came from a couple of sources. Number 1, a tragic mistake made when mixing fear potions, a mistake that he blames on Batgirl, left a chemical burn on most of his face face, which he now makes every attempt to hide. Number 2, in the intervening years, in an adventure we didn't see, in a different state than the one with Gotham City in it, Scarecrow was found guilty of multiple murders and sentenced to death by hanging. As he fell through the trapdoor, it wasn't Crane's neck that snapped, but the rope itself. The Professor of Fear survived the experience, but what little was left of his mind went completely over the edge, and he now believes himself to be a ghost, though he is clearly not. Anyway, the hangman's noose he wears is a reminder of that event. So, while the undead Scarecrow theory is a lot of fun, it seems as though it was never truly in the cards. Canonically speaking, Scarecrow created his new suit as a way to retaliate against and frighten the Krang, and then later on, sometime between the events of the new Batman Adventures and Batman Adventures Volume 2, he had a lab accident go horribly wrong that disfigured him. But now that this is all laid out for you, my question of the day is, which story do you prefer? Do you like that Manning was able to make Batman TMNT adventures important to the history of the DCAU by adding an origin to the Scarecrow's redesign? Or would you have much rather seen the hanging incident having played out? While we're at it, which of the redesigns was your favorite? And which ones can you just not stand? I'm really interested to hear what you guys have to say about it. So as always, leave your comments down under in the Australia box. I called it the Australia section last time. I am nothing if not consistently something up. Before I go, I want to thank all of these lovely people for having supported us on Patreon this month. If you want to see your name on that list for the next one, you can head over to patreon.com/DCAU Watchtower and we'll get you on there for as low as $1. If you're interested, we have even more perks over there, such as voting in polls for upcoming videos, live stream hangouts, merch, and a lot more. As always, I've been Mattie Washburn. This has been The Vanishing Point, and we'll continue to stay those things so long as you continue to stay you. I'll see you in 2 weeks, unless you're not subscribed, and then I'll probably never see you again. I don't know if YouTube will push me into your recommendations. Do you really want to break this off like this? I can't deal with rejection. Just click the button. Just do it for me. You don't even gotta watch. Just click the button, man. Just make me feel good. Yeah, that's the spot. Thanks for that. I love you. I'll see you in 2 weeks.